Hello, everyone. How are you this afternoon? Well, welcome to the Ever Better Talk Show with a power moment with Miss Wanda. Yes, right here on the Ever Better Talk Show for issues of the heart for the young and wise. Well, I want you to know today that today's power moment with Miss Wanda is for this week is Daddy and his number one dude. Daddy and his number one dude. Of course, Dad may have several dudes. He may have several sons. But Dad and his number one dude. Well, I must share with you my disclaimer for today. And that is race. Yes, race, creed, or color is not a factor in the information for today's show. However, my friend, culture, classes, that is in classes of the society, and environmental conditions may contribute to healthy development. Okay, are you still with me? Okay, well, Daddy's number one dude is my pre-Valentine show for today that ushers us into a wonderful, happy Valentine holiday season. You know, our next show will be the beginning of February, but right now we're still in January. So we want to do the housekeeping today. We want to get this preliminary important issues past us so that we'll be working and we'll be communicating, we'll be engaging for positive family relationships. Okay, well, Christmas just passed, but February is really recognized as the love holiday. Yes, this is a pre-holiday show giving you the opportunity to connect and select a convenient day of fellowship. You know, for so many years, it appears to be, and we know this is not true, but it appears to be all of the emphasis of love and sweetheart and sharing love has been the responsibility of, males for the female, whether it be daughters or grandmothers. But right now, we want to, if you would just allow me, I think it's going to be okay. But if you allow me, let's just go back, because this is the Ever Better Talk Show for issues of the heart. My experience as educator and mother and youth leader, community leaders, from my working with the young men, there's a part of their emotions that I have tapped into. Again, being mother, and also too, I am the daughter between two brothers. So, I've had my share of having male interaction. So I understand some of the sensitivity and the needs of the male as well as the females. Okay. But today our focus is going to be the males. Okay. But how many of you, my friend, believe that love should be celebrated and embraced every day? Do you believe that? Well, true love, my friend, and commitment will get you through life's toughest challenges. I am reminded of one of the gospel devotional songs. You remember it. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. When all else failed, it was love that lifted me. Okay, don't make me get my solo voice. Now, I've got a solo voice, but right now we're going to stay in the teaching mode, okay? But love lifted me. Love will lift you up. Love has lifted me so many times, my friend, when it seems nothing else would help, but love lifted me. So that's where we're going for today. And but before we go further, let me ask you the question, our first question. What is love? What is love? Love. Don't make me get on that love subject, because we are going to address not only the biblical, but the practical, the everyday, the family, the issues of the heart. But just for your notes today, just make a note of 1 Corinthians, the 4th through the 8th verse here. And it says that charity suffers long and is kind, envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, it's not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seek not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth, bearing all things, believing all things, hope all things, endureth all things. Charity faileth not. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall all vanish. We've said a lot there. We've said a lot. Let's just continue to move forward. Because the ultimate question is going to be, well, being human and the situation we have to deal with, and you have to deal with, how do we apply all of that to our everyday lives and all the struggles and challenges and the confrontations? Just stay with me. I want to acknowledge today that my resources that I'll be sharing with you, of course, you've already stated, the Holy Bible, that scripture from 1 Corinthians came from the Holy Bible, but also to Psychology for Today, the Huffman Post, and there'll be several others. But I just want to make a point because those were some of my major sources. But Psychology Today, my friend, tells us to be worried. Yes. To be worried about boys, especially baby boys. Let me ask you question number 2. What is the deepest form of love? The deepest form of love. Stay focused. All humans require love. But again, today our focus is the male, the little boys who mature to be grown men. But we're talking about deep love. It's going to require deep love, a deep love, divine discernment to understand how to relate and engage with the male gender. But deep love, my friend, is seeing someone at their most vulnerable, often lowest point, and reaching out your hand to help them get back up. Because love is selfless. It's realizing there's no one out there that you don't think twice about caring for. But caring, my friend, for them is as involuntary as breathing. Just stay with me. Our society and tradition has caused many of us to overlook the human needs of males. And for that reason, many of them mask up to avoid criticism, to avoid ridicule. This is even when they're young boys, more or less than when they get to be teenagers and adolescents and young adults. Because men's supposed to be cool, right? They're supposed to have everything, just like 100, 100, 100. And we know that's not true. And I want to talk about, the Better Talk Show is going to bring you a show on the female too. But today we're just going to focus on the males. Because again, issues of the heart for the young and wise, for the young boys and the older men. Okay? Well, Alan Shore discussed, one of the psychologists, he discussed the harmful effects of stressing baby boys at birth. No, we're not starting at teenagers. We're talking about birth now. And we'll start at birth because I want you to know that this is not a fairy tale. We have some real issues that we need to identify with. Oh, that's a, oh, bless the Lord, oh my soul moment. There's some real issues, moms. There's some real issues, dad. There are some real issues, educators, law enforcement. But hey, parents, you are the secret to the answer. Because stress, our young infant babies are stressful, more stressful than the girls, even in the womb, and it proceeds through birth. Well, then question number 3 again. Why does life experience influence boys significantly more than girls? I will ask that question again. Why does early life experiences influence boys significantly more than girls? Well, I want you to know, my friend, that boys mature slower physically, socially, and linguistically. Boys also, the stress regulating brain circuitries matures more slowly in boys prenatally and postnatally. Boys, and these are facts I'm sharing with you, boys are affected more negatively by early environmental stress inside and outside the womb than are girls. Girls, my friend, have more built-in mechanisms that foster resiliency against stress. That's documented. If y'all have any questions regarding anything that I'm sharing with you today, or please talk to your physician. Please talk to your nurse. Even research it yourself. There are biological differences in the males and the females regarding behavior and the treatment and understanding of life issues for boys. But they don't stay there now. They don't stay there. They escalate. But the infancy, that's what I want to emphasize on, the infancy stage. Again, our talk show today, my friend, is Daddy's and his number one dude. Daddy and his number one dude, his little boy, his little grandson. Well, question number 4, my friend. How are boys affected more than girls then? Well, boys are more vulnerable to maternal stress and depression in the womb. Oh, I wish I had time to develop that. When the mother is pregnant, whatever health issue she's experiencing, whatever that may be, whatever struggles in the womb, the boy child is going to be more affected emotionally than the little girl. Well, we know when the little girl, when she's born, she's happy-go-lucky and everybody's, she's pretty, they even want to say, like, she does this fast. Y'all heard that term, fast? Oh, she's so fast. Whereas the little boys are a little bit more reluctant. Keep that in mind as we continue. Well, boys, again, are more vulnerable to maternal stress and depression in the womb. Birth trauma, whatever the mother is experiencing in giving birth to the child. And not only that, the separation from the mother. That male child, the little boy, he wants to, and I know this, I have a son. It seems like he just didn't want to leave me. But he's stressing. And even after birth, he has some challenges that my daughter didn't have. The stressing, the sensitivity. But I want you to know that these attachment traumas are significantly, it impacts the right brain hemisphere of the male child. The right brain hemisphere of his brain's development, which developed more rapidly in early life than the left brain hemisphere. The right hemisphere normally establishes self-regulatory brain circuitry that's related to self-control and sociality. Self-control and sociality. Self-control again and sociality. Sociality as in how the child is going to be relating to others. You know, sometimes those little girls, they just talk and laugh and talk to everybody. You know, sometimes there's some hesitation with the little boys. Normal term, newborn boys. Normal term, you know, the normal term, the mother carries the child for the 8 to the 9 month, preferably the 9th month. But the normal term, newborn boys react differently to neonatal behavior assessments. They show a high cortisol level, and the cortisol level is an examination result that shares the status on how, it's an indicator of how well the boy child, the little boys, react to stress. And they don't have their cortisol level is not one where they have as much control as the female child. So there is higher. So therefore, they're more stressful and afterwards than girls. At 6 months, boys show more frustration than girls do. And this is, keep in mind, this is during the infancy, during the early years. This has nothing to do with the first grade teacher or the neighborhood, anything like that. I want you to understand this is biological at birth. Okay? So at 6 months old, the boys show more frustration than girls do. At 12 months, boys show a greater reaction to negative stimuli. If something happens that they, startles them or upsets them, they tend to react more forcefully, more at a higher level than girls. Because keep in mind, they were born with the stress level as not as controlled as the girl. Question number 5. Why boys need more emotional support than girls? And I'm rushing because I know that clock is never my friend. You can go back and play this anytime, as well as your extended personal research. But the question number 5 is, why does boys need more emotional support than girls? Well, they make a point of letting us know that it's not because they're tougher. That is a myth. Maybe because of body size or body type, the overall population just think, the boy just like the football player, the muscles. No. At this stage, that has nothing to do with it. We're talking about internal development, social and emotional. Okay, they're not tougher. And what I'm about to share with you right now comes from Alison Schaefer's. That's Allyson and then Schaffer. Schaefer. Okay, so when you read about gender stereotyping children, it usually is about behavior, like girls opting to play with dolls and boys preferring trucks. But what about other differences? Recent and past research shed light on gender differences in the brain and its development. And it's these studies we should be looking to when it comes to thinking about the kind of emotional support we give our children, especially our boys. In a 2000 study entitled The Fragile Male. You can Google it. Sebastian Kramer states that baby boys' brains are actually more fragile than baby girls. Even in the womb, boy brains are more reactive to maternal depression and stress, while at birth, baby boys' brains lag behind girls by a full 6 weeks. Research has also shown that boys have high cortisol level. That's what I just mentioned to you. That this is the stress hormone. They have a high stress hormone level after traumatic birth, where they are separated from their mother or their caregiver was unresponsive. Kramer argues that female brains have an early advantage that stays with them throughout childhood, while boys struggle and trail behind in a variety of areas. Oh my, hey, this is issues of the heart for the young and wise. And right now it's definitely young, because we're talking about our baby boys, our infant baby boys. As boys age, my friend, they can continue to struggle, which when compounded by the lack of emotional support, it only gets more serious. Although scientists go back and forth on this, it is thought that males are more prone to dyslexia and difficulty with reading and language, making school and learning difficult. Boys are also more likely to have childhood onset conduct disorders and are 2 to 3 times as likely to have ADHD than girls. They are not born automatically defiant. Boys are not born disrespectful, but they are biological. They are biologically, and they have biological and environmental issues. They struggle beyond their control. Let's talk about the fragile male. Sebastian again. Kramer consults child and he's a consultant for child and adolescent psychiatrist. He's a psychiatrist, give me a tongue twister. But he says that the human male is, on most measures, more vulnerable than females. Part of the explanation is the biological fragility of the male's fetus, which is little understood and not widely known. A typical attitude to boys is that they are or must be more resilient than girls. This adds social insult to biological injury. That's what people say. Culture, my friend, and classes make a difference to the health and survival of boys. The data presented here have implications for the clinical management of male patients as well as for the upbringing of boys. Well, this section summarizes by saying the disadvantages of the male are usually seen as social mediated. Even from conception, my friend, before social effects comes into play, males are more vulnerable than female. Before socialization even takes place, before they start going out, before they start, having the relationships, this is already put into play. There are issues beyond their control. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let me just continue. social attitudes about the resiliences of boys compounds biological deficiencies. Male mortality, this is what they're saying, male mortality, and this is true, the male mortality, the death rate, the male mortality rate is greater than female mortality throughout life. We already know that. Not in all cases, but majority of the cases, the female is the longest lived. The causes are a mixture of biological and social pressures. Let me say that again. The causes are a mixture of biological and social pressures. We need to be aware of both in order to promote better development of health for boys and men. Now, let's consider, my friend, some important facts to help men and connect us with our younger men and to give them encouragement to move forward. Don't you want to do that? Dads, uncles, even moms, you know, it has been really unfair. You know, I don't think anybody really meant any harm. You know, the pressure that's put on little boys to be like a man, act like a man, without having that guidance and that understanding and that mentoring. I pray that at the end of this show that you begin to think, and maybe some may even need to repent of the pressures that's been put on our little boys when they simply didn't have the support they needed. Let's move forward. Again, our show today is with Miss Wanda. We want to work together to help Dad show off, encourage his number one dude. Yes, number one dude. And when that child, that little boy, feels that he's the number one dude, there's nothing he cannot accomplish. His whole attitude changes. His attitude changes for his teachers, his friends, his community, because what? He's the number one dude. And if your child doesn't feel like he is your number one dude, he's going to find somebody else who makes him feel like the number one dude. And they may not be completely honest with him. But it's important, my friend, to understand the 4 basic types of love for a successful relationship. Well, there are 4 types of love. Some are healthy and some are not. But the 4 basic foundational types of love is number 1, the Eros love. Eros. Erotic. Passionate love. And unfortunately, whenever Valentine comes around, especially in February, that's the type of love that gets most attention. And that's probably the most unhealthy love if you're not married, if you're not an adult. Because that's that romantic type love. You know, many other issues of the heart develop from the misuse of the irresponsible actions of the Eros type love. That's romantic love. That's the intimacy type love. Let's talk about the filial. The filial type love, that's a love of friends and equals, you know, like your best friend, you know, your guys, the schoolmates, classmates, neighbors, the cool kind of love, you know, where you're just hanging out. But the storge love is the love for, you know, family type love. That's a very healthy type of love. And that's the type of love we're going to focus on today, because again, we're talking about dad and his number one dude. That's a storage type of love. That's the type of love, that has benefits for generations. Oh my. Hey, the storage love, especially family, if we cultivate our children, male or female, especially males, when they're small, they're little babies, and God be willing, as the lifespan continues, they're going to be there for you. They're going to be there for you. Okay? Yes. And of course, our fourth, last type of love, category of love, is the godly love. And that's the love of mankind. We refer to that as the godly love. The unconditional love. The love God has for us. And when all the other types of love has failed, if you get a good foundation in the Word of God, He will lead you. And He will guide you. He will protect you. Because He understands that the struggle is great. Okay? So, whatever has gone wrong, this type of love will always bring you success. We talked about that agape love. Question number 6, my friend. What are the love languages then? Love languages? Love languages? Now, let's just recap for a minute now, because we've already identified the importance of the insecurities of the young boys. And I want you to understand this. If those love needs have not been met, embraced as a child, even though the child continues to grow into adolescents, teenagers, young adults, if those love needs, the basic types of love, have not been met, then out of the need for love, and love is a need, individuals and young people can get involved into damaging relationships. But this is an opportunity, parents, fathers, I plead you to take the time and just consider and prayerfully get it right. You still have time to get it right. Yes. Reactivate that love, because it's there. It just needs to be motivated. It needs to be identified. Yes. And embraced and acknowledged. Yes. And let them know that you're behind them, because you want them to be your number one dude. Number one dude. Okay. And guess what? Even if the father is short-lived, he may be, the Lord just may call him on home to glory. He just died. But if they remember you making them their number one dude, that is going to be a motivation that will keep them for the rest of their life into generations to generation. But for you to die and never, for you to die and not have acknowledged to them that they are your number one dude, well, that will be a loss, and that will be an emptiness. Oh, that will be an emptiness for whoever they marry or whatever family they may have. The search. Oh, my. Make them and let them know they're the number one dude. Let's continue as I give you some other tools in helping you or establish the fact that you can make them your number one dude before Valentine's. We're not talking about February 14th now, because February 14th should be reserved for that other kind of love, okay? But we want to be proactive, and we want to establish our love, a need, and we want to get the feel good on right now, so that these individuals can also share love to whoever they may be involved with at this particular time in a positive way and feel good about themselves. Okay? But some love language. There are 5 basic love language, and one is the word of affirmation. And a love language of word of affirmation. This is when words of affirmation it's that person love. In other words, what do you do, or what is my preference? How does someone make me feel, or make me feel like I'm loved? my preference would be, my love language would be a word of affirmation. That means that, the words you use, encouragement words that builds me up. But at the same time too, if you use harsh words, that's not going to make me feel up. That's going to hurt me to my heart. Issues of the heart for the young and wise. Okay, the second love language will be act of service. Well, some people, that's what they love. If you do something for them, or wash the dishes or clean the garage, whatever the case may be, that just makes them feel so good, because act of service, when you do, or you bring them something, would do a job for them, an act of service for them, well, then that's their love language. But at the same time too, if you don't do anything, they're gonna feel real bad now. So you got to know the person. You got to spend time with them to know their love language. Receiving gifts. Well, when you speak this love language, a thoughtful gift shows to them that they are special. And these love language, I want you to know, they are true for male and female. It's not all about giving the young lady. Love is reciprocated. Yes. And helping the young man understand that his love, he's going to be able to identify what healthy love looks like. Yes. And I wish I had the time to, don't let me get in church now. Don't let me get in church, because I'm telling you, a lot of people have been misled, because again, those basic understanding of the sociological and the physiological effects of the maternal impact it has on males, education. We've got to read. We just simply didn't know. They didn't know. Yes, that is accountability, and that's a responsibility for moving forward with successful, healthy relationships. Okay, our next love language is, again, we just talked about receiving gifts, but now quality time. Quality time. Quality time. You got to spend time with them. Number one dude, if a child feel like he or she, he is your number one dude, then that means that your relationship with him is going to precedent over being with the boys, or hanging out with the boys, or hanging out with whoever. They go like, I'm your son, or your dad, you know. So if you're a number one dude, that means that your quality time is prioritized. Yes. And they feel special when they're walking with dad. Do that now. And failure to actively listen for long periods of time without giving your attention make them feel uninvolved. Yes. When you're with them, they want to know that, you're talking the language. There's so much to be added to that. But let's move forward. And physical touch. It bothers me when I see, hey, it's still a better talk show. I'm just sharing my heart. It bothers me when I see a parent and a child taking a picture together, and that's not a touch, not a hand on the shoulder, not a, rub the top of your head. That's touching is a love language. It means I love you. If both people are standing, just for anyone, couples or children, and everybody, the hands, as though, you're, I guess, what you call a military pose, a military pose. But the hand, it's touching is very healthy. This is healthy touching. This is a love touch. This is not the other kind of stuff, not the negative stuff. It just means I love. It could be a pat on the back, And a lot of times guys do the love language. When I'm with a lot of guys and intermingling, the knuckle hit, the how you know sometimes you go, they understand that language. That means I love you. Okay. I mean, we okay. Well, but again, the couples could go to, the holding the hand, And even kissing, the dad, hug your son. That's not feminine. Hug your son, embrace your son. Kiss your son on the cheek, especially when they're small. Just let them know that you love them. Let them know they are your number one dude. That's what they want to know. That's all they want to know, that they are your number one dude. And hey, and no matter how much mom loved them, and we're going to be talking about moms, but moms can never give them, can never have the same impact of what dad does. Because when dad says, you're my number one dude, hey, mom can't compare with that. You're my number one dude. But bless the Lord, mom will do what she can, and God will provide the rest. But hey, you're my number one dude. And they need to hear that from you while you're alive, while you're healthy. And then they'll come back and tell you, you are my number one pop. Yes. Okay. It is my sincere prayer that every one of you, my friend, will replay this video again and again, and listen each time with fresh ears. With fresh ears to hear the heart message, to become more available and engage with your son. And let's not be selfish. If you know other or young men who are without their fathers, embrace them. But not to replace your number one dude. I believe that charity begins at home and then it spreads abroad. When your child see that you all have the number one dude dad relationship, then you can embrace the other children and friends, community, family member as a team. Because it's like you're partners. Children are very sensitive to prioritization. They want to know they are your number one. And when you are their number and they are your number one, then you're partners. And then it's like, then we as a team can go and share love, or we can invite other friends or family members to dinner, or go out for a hot dog or hamburger, because their position is irreplaceable. Because they are the what? The number one dude. You're living in the household with them. You may have multiple children. You may have multiple sons. But the ones you say good night to, you say good morning to, you need to make sure they understand your position with them. The number one dude. And then you together as a team can embrace the entire world and the community, if be possible. Well, today's, my friend, or would you take time today, this weekend, would you consider planning a personal breaking of bread fellowship with your number one dude? Just you and your number one dude. Whether it be out to dinner, a hot dog or a hamburger, they need to know that it's a special moment. You may have heard me say sometime before how one Valentine, or my son and his wife wanted to go out, and of course they asked me, they understand my schedule, they were respectful, whether or not I was doing anything. I said no, but they wanted me to babysit my granddaughter. And I thought, well, okay, we're gonna make a real moment out of this. I said, dress her up. Yeah, dress her up. We're gonna make it real special. She didn't have to, but we made it special. Had a little bow with her hair, and she came. We had a grandma and granddaughter date. And this year I plan to do some things for my grandson too. Well, the whole point is that everybody wants to be special. Issues of the heart for the young and wise. And I want you to know that, again, or if you don't have a son, or if your son is deceased, yes, we're talking to some fathers. I know there's COVID. I know that there's so much vitality that's going on in the neighborhoods. But if you find yourself, my dear fathers, if you find yourself and you don't have a son or your son is deceased, hey, get up. Jesus overcame evil by doing good. If you want to heal, you want to get that really good down feeling on the inside, just get up and start doing it for somebody else. There are others who need you. Look around you and choose a young son, a young boy, or even, hey, it could be an older one, wherever the need is, who doesn't have a father or family members or friends. It could be a homeless adult, whatever the case may be. Or it could be a young man who doesn't have any children at all. You know, lifetime bachelor, whatever the case may be. Whatever the need is. Your number one dude first now. And then you can embrace and share love with others. Well, while you're with your number one dude, I know that we're a little bit old today. This has really been a teaching moment instead of just a power moment. But hey, it is what it is, because this is information that will make the difference. It's a game changer. It's a deal breaker for embracing your number one dude. But while you're with your number one dude, ask your number one dude, what would you like for us to do together? Preferably during Valentine's, but it could be any time. You know, doesn't have to be on the 14th. It could be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, any day. And I hope it will continue with the rest of the month. The July, the August, the September, October. You know, Valentine's should be every day. But ask them what would they like to do. You'll be amazed if your schedule has been congested. It would amaze you what your child really desire to do with you. Okay? They may want to do a game at home. They may want to call in for a piece of just you and them. They may want to go to a restaurant, but ask them. They're going to remember that you asked them. And when you are able to fulfill that request, then the moment's going to be twice as special. Also, make sure you tell your number one dude. Do not assume, oh, they know I love them. No, 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 no. Tell your number one dude often. Often. This is COVID-19. No, yeah, COVID-19, 2022. I cannot tell you, and you know already, the loss of family members. Even before COVID, there were still fatalities. Fatalities has always been. But tell your number one dude, look your number one dude in the eye, and let them know, let them hear you say, I love you, son. By name, call their name. Or get up in the morning. Don't you know I love you? And you cool, right? We cool. The body language, whatever, whatever y'all do, I love the number one dude. Tell them you love them. Tell them how proud you are of them. The coaches may say they're proud. The youth leader may say they're proud. It's not the same thing. The number one dude need to hear their father say, I love you. They need to hear their father say, I am proud of you. And tell them something you like most about them. Tell them something you admire. Tell them something they do well. And they don't know what, I didn't know you noticed. Yes. Your number one dude needs to know that. Tell them again you love them, how proud you are of them, something that you like most about them, and give them a hug. Give them a hug. Give them a hug. Give them a hug. Yes. Give them a hug. And tell them you love them. Well, and thank God for intentional fellowship. Intentional fellowship, my friend. I hope that's what you make it. That means you're going to put the effort. It's not just going to be fly-by-night experience. Even though we love them now. We love those. We love those. We love those. But we've got to make sure that the foundational effort has been made for your number one dude. And while you're there, hey, look, take pictures. Take pictures. Take pictures of the event. Whatever. But especially the event that you're playing together, you know. Valentine is about love. You know, it's not just about females. No. It's about love. And most important, our young boys, you know, especially when they're older, you know, and because parents, you know, our parents are the young, we need to understand them. And they need to know that we want to understand them. We're not going to be critical, especially when you know the foundational has not been cultivated. But the good thing about it is that little baby boy, oh my goodness, that little baby boy who is born with these health challenges, with the emotional and social challenges, they don't stay there. If they are nurtured, if they are loved, if they are poured into, hey, can I say that rascal is going to bloom? But he's going to bloom whole. It's going to be whole. He's going to be whole physically, emotionally. He's going to be whole intellectually. And don't say anything about strength. Ooh, he's going to be strong. But that is the goal, or that is the reward for foundational engagement. Now, those little girls, oh, I know the girls. Hey, I'm a girl, right? Those little fast ones, you know, that, you know, even through school, you know, they had all the smiles and all the little cutie. So many boys been pushed back behind the little smiling face and the personality. Let's go back and get our boys and let them know they are your number one dudes. Well, Father, guess what? You have just utilized all 5 love languages. Yes. The love language of word of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. These are all called love languages. Well, I want to thank you, my friend, for joining our pre-Valentine power moment with Miss Wanda. Today's power moment has been Daddy and his number one dude. Brought to you by Resolve 2010 LLC, a Christian education, family service ministry for student intervention, parental engagement, teen parenting, and healthy adult relationships. If this ministry has inspired and encouraged your day, please use my donate option on my website, on the homepage of my website at the upper right hand corner at www.resolved-2010. Again, my website is www.resolved-2010.com. And there you'll be able to see my Cash App, and that Cash App for me is $Wanda, WANDA, Prowell, PROWELLLJ. Again, $Wanda Prowell J, and of course PayPal. All that's listed on my homepage if you want to be a blessing to the ministry. So again, or you're able to follow me on my homepage. You'll be able to do it also too. But on my homepage, you'll be able to follow me on Instagram. I look forward to seeing all of you on Instagram. And that is Wanda Prowell. No, I think it's Prowell Wanda. But if you go to my homepage, you'll see it all there. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This video itself will be on Facebook, but also too, I'm going to transfer it to YouTube. And if you just type in, the Wanda Prowell in the search engine, all of my pre-recorded videos for healthy relationships and teen family, teen parenting videos are there. Okay. So again, I am Wanda J. Prowell. Thank you for joining me today here on the Ever Better Talk Show. Your talk show host, educator, yes, high school educator, author, and minister who brought you a power moment for issues of the heart for the young and wise. Until our next show, next Friday, I look forward to seeing you. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I love you. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.